Welcome to Katie Custom Woodworking. I'm Kevin Dunphy. Now we're getting right to work. Like we're starting with, the most gorgeous piece of wood I could find. This is my mahogany that I've been saving. You saw at the beginning of our video, it had a whole load. We're doing a style, we're doing uniqueness. We're not trying to copy, and we're saying that this is who we are. We offer sophistication. There's no middle ground. We're there. Okay, this is craftsmanship at its finest. This is not country, whatever, industrial or any other design that we're mailing. So come on board. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now, remember last week I did the post. All right. Now, what was I supposed to be doing with this post? Was I supposed to be leaving it like this, or were we supposed to create a little bit of uniqueness? And I went for the uniqueness. Okay, so I'm starting with my baseboard. I'm going around, and if you remembered last week, we used the tape with the 45s, but here I'm putting a groove in. I've added a little spacer on the back on the 45s, so when I start to glue, the PL will expand into that groove. And it's just simple. I'm just using tape. Now this trick is cool. When you cut a 45, and you can do the same, just flip it over. Run that one in slow motion and you'll see what I mean. I only had to do one setup with that cut. Now, putting glue here, I want that molding there because I did it with the little base blocks, and I had the same type of molding, so I wanted to kind of everything to look the same. And I just used the pin nailers. So now I got the posts just sitting in there. I don't have them glued. The reason for that is you gotta be careful when you make stuff like this. Like if I start putting these on, I'm gonna start framing it with these. Will I be able to sand it after? I don't think so. So it ended up all being, like I said, the heart of the mahogany, and I love it. I know this is just going to explode, but what's more important about it, this is going to be on the ground throughout the years. This wood is like, I don't know if you saw me there trying to pick up that wood. The full board, I could barely pick it up. I still feel it. So I'm kind of going like this. All right, so really my 45s. So I'm liking this a lot. Wow, I picked a heartwood. Anyways, we had some left, and I'll say to Kurt, this is for a good cause, okay? Man, because I believe stairs are the most important part, and you kind of underestimate when you walk in. Even though I'm going to have a thin staircase, because it's not really a typical in-your-face 5-bedroom house, so we're getting this vibe here. Alright, so onward. I'm going to put time lapse on and start doing this. Oh yeah, it's going to be easy. Alright, so it's the next day, and what's good is sometimes the next day you had night to think about it. Okay, what am I doing here? Is this going to look good? Is this going to look stupid? Am I going off the deep end? Because I don't see this anywhere. I don't see any of this woodwork out there in any of the magazines or nothing. And am I nuts? Do people hate it or they can't do it? Get off that path of trying to copy. You know, just because everything's gray this month and then next month everything's blue and next thing's white. The reason for that is cabinet making is dumbed down now. Am I correct in the way I'm doing cabinet? Probably not. Probably back in the old days, they would use veneer, did more curves, had templates, had probably a hell of a lot more experience than I did, even at my age. So, for this point where I'm at now, I'm enjoying this. I really am. And then that's the key when you're going to invest in something like this. Don't get stressed out. Or if you're starting out on your own, try to get a niche. Don't try to be there with the masses. That's it. That's my morning rant. All right. So I put the band here. Why it is, because I'm going to go here now, up here. All right. And I'm gonna put another band right across. I'm gonna pre-cut that. Now, I got this decent, and I spent my time more than the other ones in sanding, which, you know, really is gonna make my job a lot easier at the end, finishing. And that's why I didn't put on the base just yet, until I get this cleaned up. Then I can sand this all day long. Be careful of stuff like that. The biggest thing I see is when you put something together and you can't, you don't think about the finishing after, and then that's critical. This wood only looks great on the finishing. That's why I love the mahogany. It's because when you put a good finish on it, the wood just explodes. So I'm gonna do time lapse because I don't think you want to watch this in real time. And let's see how I make out today. I didn't mill enough of these pieces here. I need 16 of these pieces, and I'm nowhere near it. So I'm going to go through a little more than I thought. And now I got to cut 8 of the top banding, right? And then one in the middle. I want like kind of like an hourglass effect here. Then I'm going to do a little banding here. And I'm not sure yet, honestly, what I'm going to do on a couple things. I got an idea what's going to look good, and then some of it I just might back off. Okay, so on the one side, I'm just I started with the herringbone, and I was debating whether or not to do kind of like a diamond type, and then I laid off on that, and I just went in one direction. I'm using a spacer and just using the pin nailer to put it in, 2 pins at a time. And I did a little, I don't know what you want to call it, a little detail on top, and I did on both ends. On the other side, I decided to do sort of, I don't know if you call it like a herringbone type pattern. I used a straight piece and I put the 45s there. It's the same width as the other side, but because the other pieces are a little different in thickness, it looks wider. So that's going to be the face of the stairs when you walk in. I want it unique. So like if you see right there in the picture, it looks a little unique when you see the front, and then the side looks a little different, and I gave the illusion that it looks wider. All right, so I'm just showing up at the shop. Man, it's been 4 days to get to here, but I've also done the waistcoat molding and ran the CNC, so not a total waste. It does take a lot of time. If I had shaved a couple of days off on terms of the house and maybe mailed it in and just did something like that, would it make a difference on the sale of the house? Because I'm doing all the parts. And I think, here's my honest opinion. I think it's better because I'm trying to watch my words and not step on toes. It's better that you push yourself to whatever limit or goal, and then it gets easier and easier. Like if I was to make these again and say to sell them on the internet, I could have a jig made up and I could do this a hell of a lot faster than the first couple. You know, you're making sure you just cut and a lot of other little factors. So there's that side of the coin. It's always long to do real custom work and create a unique thing, but there's nothing like it. And if you're just starting out woodworking, push yourself. Don't stay away from. Okay, stay away from the quick money, like cutting boards or whatever. I'm going to be best cutting board. It's a fad, and there's always going to be somebody doing it cheaper behind you. But when you try to push yourself through the good stuff, there's not too many people behind you, and you can get better jobs. And if you're DIY, you feel more satisfied that, you know, I've taken it and I'm pushing it. That's my rant. Now, I got this side to do. I'm going to show sanding. Now, on these, the top part is put here for a reason. I'm going to show you. When you're sitting down the first step, that's about 7 1/4 down here. Your handrail, you know, 32, 36 in that range. So I come up here and I'm right about 43 in the middle. Pretty close. that's where I want to hit with the handrail. So I come around, I can put one this side, this side, this side. But if I put any decoration in there, you know, it might look stupid. This one's going to face like this. And I want the handrail to come out here and then to step up like this. And then on top, I don't know if you got that 7 inches, come in like here, and then you go straight up, and then you turn into this. I think I'm doing like this part, like an arts and craft as a celebration. I like that period too. That was really the answer to Victorian, the first, shall we say, shaker. But the stuff you look at now compared to our shaker there's no comparison 100 years later. So that's what I'm up to today. I'll do the sanding here. These are only sitting in here, like they're not even glued yet. The other thing is there's steel posts going through the other one. So for the cap, I gotta be careful. I'm not gonna get too cutesy. I'm gonna make it that, you know, I can drill that hole and slide that post down because it's gonna hold up the corner of the stairs there. All right, let's do it. So on the top one, little hourglass section, I just did the same pattern and I just went the opposite way. I looked at a lot of different stuff and I just felt it wasn't right, and just to keep that repeating pattern. But it looks different because it's done the opposite way. Now I'm filling all the little nail heads and there's little gaps. I got putty and I just basically putting it on my finger. This is the critical part because I won't be able to spray really heavy, so I got to make sure that's filled because I'm spraying vertically on. Okay, now for the top, there's going to be a steel post that's going to come up through here, going right up. So I'm going to put a little column, like we saw in the other video how we made this. There'll be walnut going up. I won't make it as elaborate, the top part up here. I'll back off. I'll just do enough. So with that said, I don't want to do a spike because if I want it to sit on top and just drill a hole, I want to keep it simple. So what I've done, I've had this little piece. I've been using this a lot throughout, and I'm going to go around and do a 45. It's actually, I'm going to say, this is the last of that gorgeous big chunk of wood, and that's it for the color. So I'm going to go like this. I'll make a decision on the other piece on top. Do I want to cut a strip and do pure 45s? Wrap that right around and drill a hole in there, or leave it alone? I haven't decided yet. It's one of these things that I'm going to do. The little lip there is just so it slides over at the end and I can take it off. And I'm leaving like about 1/16 over, touch over 9 inches so that I could slip away. I don't want it so tight that I got to hammer it in, but you know, I don't want it so sloppy. I got to put glue on there on the final install, and it worked out pretty good. All right, so last piece, I'm going to do 45. Now, if I do this correctly, I'm going to spin it this way. I should be able to do this with one setup. 45 here, that'll be my big end, and then that'll be my big end. I measured from here, I went 8, so I went about 4 1/4, about halfway. Have a little reveal here so I can put that piece on, and you'll see in a minute. What's important with this, make sure you're sitting nice and flush here. If you know you got a decent piece of wood, and let's see if I can pull this off. When I started the 45, after a couple of cuts, I started to realize something, that the way the grain was, that I could have the grain continuing like in a circle. You'll see that in a minute. The cut, I had to use like a spacer to kind of keep it there, like you see right here. It's a bit awkward because it's a little over what the blade can do in one shot, so I gotta slide it a bit, and when you do that, you tend to get a little vibration no matter how good you are. When you come down on that, it's the violence, I guess, the blade turning and the wood, some parts of it doesn't want to be cut, and you know, and there's just vibration. There's no way around it, and that's the only thing you got to learn to work when you're doing a lot of woodworking. That yes, that will happen, and there are ways to make adjustments. So here I'm just seeing how they fit and just making sure everything's okay. So I got my piece there. Liking that. Okay, I'm gonna do something. All right. Now watch what I'm gonna do. Okay. I'm laughing because I should have known it, but known it. I should have knew it. Known it. Is that a word? Known it? Let me know. Now I'm getting the grain here, lined up. I like that, I like that. So what I realized quickly when I did the cuts is, it took me about the fourth cut to figure it out, is every second cut will line up and create a continuous band in like a circle. So every odd one goes from one piece and the other, the even one goes on the other piece, so that makes sense. I'm using the 7 1/4 there, the little cordless blade, and I gotta take it on to fit the last part. It's like, I lose like a 0.25 of a degree, 0.25. So there I'm kind of adjusting one piece to make sure it fits in nicely. And it worked amazing. I love that little saw. I felt comfortable doing it that small, that I wasn't going to cut myself, or it was too powerful, like a 12-inch blade. And I'm gluing it. In retrospect, I should have put the biscuit in there. I just got so focused on getting it, and you know, you are 45 degree, but I wasn't worried about it because it's going to be glued on another piece, so I wasn't too concerned. There it sits right on top like that, and then if I put my another post on top, it will be easy. I don't have any degrees, and I got the clamps ready because, you know, it just wasn't with tape, and it was a little tricky. It is a pain in the ass to do it. That's why I would do the biscuits. That's the only mistake I didn't do. So here's almost, you know, the finished products, as you say at the end. Please subscribe. I'm finished this video for this week. So thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe. We need all the support we can get. I love you guys. I can't ask for more. I'm living the dream. Thank you.